In terms of transferable skills, things that you're doing right now, why they may be important, the senior capstone is very similar, right, to what you would have to do in this particular program. And also in your studies in college, you have to do something similar. So keep that in mind. Take that capstone project serious because you'll be doing something similar to that in the future.
And with that presentation, the topics do vary by year, and I believe you just focus on one area in your group for that project. But some of these can include public health interventions, global health, infectious disease, chronic disease, injury prevention, data analysis, surveys, school wellness programs, violence prevention, environmental health, emergency preparedness, outbreaks, scientific communication, laboratory technology, disease surveillance, epidemiology, and public health law. So it's a wide range of topics that CDC covers, and you would get to select one of interest that you would focus on during that week.
And I just thought of another connection. I'm going to put Mr. Price on the spot. What did you just get, stand up, what did you just finish doing to represent Stone Mountain High School? Not that, yeah, the what?
Science fair.
Tell us.
Science fair.
So the science fair is also a project, right, where you have to go through and select a topic, right? And he made it, how far did you make it?
To the district.
He made it to the district with his project. So again, all of those topics that you just mentioned, and all of those different fields, right, it's conceptually similar to what you would have to do when you're faced with your science project. All right, appreciate you.
If you are interested in this program, I would just remember the applications are due March 27th, so that's soon. So submit your applications. The next one is the one that probably most people are going to be interested in. That's the second handout that I handed out, and this is the instructions for this program and a little bit of information. This is the Student Worksite Experience Program. This is a student internship, and you can be a high school student, a college student, and I think even a graduate student. So this is something to keep in mind as you are going through your path. And the eligibility is that you just need a minimum of 2.0 GPA and be 16 years or older. You do have to have transportation. It is unpaid, and you can do a maximum of 6 months long. And then the rest of the requirements are on that sheet that I handed out. So the required steps if you're interested in doing this is to complete the student volunteer interest form and the statement of duties form, which I am going to leave with Mr. Logan on the flash drive. If anyone wants them, just request them. And then you would email them and a resume to hrcs@cdc.gov. That is the program. That is the office that runs this program. And then they do have a form that they'll give you that allows you to put in your specific interests so that they can match you with an internship that's already set up based off those interests. Another thing that you can do is if there is just an area of interest that you are interested in and maybe they don't have a program internship already set up in that office, feel free to reach out to someone at CDC. That's what I did. I was working for Emory and going to George Washington University, and I used my connections from Emory just to find contacts. Reached out to Dr. Palaputi's team and asked if there was an internship possibility. They didn't have one set up, but they interviewed me and they set one up for me. So just taking the initiative will take you a long way, especially at the CDC. Are there any questions about those two programs?
Questions in general?
Those 5 days that you talked about, what month will it be in terms of?
Sorry?
The 5 days that we're going to be on the camp, what month of summer will it be?
There's 2 different sessions, and I want to say, I might have it in my notes. I don't know if it's the same every year, but it's, I want to say one's in June and one's in July. So don't quote me on that. If you go online, it'll when you're submitting the application, it'll say the specific dates for the 2 camps.
Yeah, it ain't
Okay.
So it's
And
June,
also, Angela, one more-
15th through 19th, and July 20 through 24. So there's a June session. You see them? It's hard to see right here, but it's this question was when are the dates for the 5-day camp? It's June 15 through 19 and July 20 through 24. So one of those two options. Go ahead.
What are the specific volunteer opportunities that were given in the year? Like, what are we doing specifically when we're helping at the CDC?
At the SWEP program.
Yeah.
So it'll depend on the office. When I was an intern, it was really them it was based off some of my interests and then also what they had that could be done. I did a lit review. I did 2 different lit reviews. One on e-cigarette use, which, as we know, is an issue among young people today. It was kind of in the beginning of that area when I did write that. And then another thing I did was taking all of these data sets from global data for tobacco use and tobacco control measures and compiling them together to be analyzed for a paper. I also had interest in health communications, so I did a few health communication projects which were basically taking the science, making it so that the public can understand it in an easy way, even if they don't have any scientific background. One of those is called Khan Academy. They do some really great videos on any topic you can think about. And I wrote the one on tobacco control. So it really depends on your interest and the office. But we've had students do data analysis because that's what they were interested in. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Palapiti?
No, nothing, but particularly one of the, when we say that the program SWAP itself is for up to a duration of 180 days or 6 months. And please don't take that, that when you are in that particular SWAP program, you are excused from the school for that 6 months. That is not the actual intent of it. It's besides your school, this is an additional opportunity for you to gain the experience and expertise in the field of your interest. What that means is, once you are accepted to a program or once you are accepted as an intern, what we call is like student experience program, what happens is that person will be working with the supervisor and identify the times when it is convenient for both of them without losing the school. Like either maybe in the early 2 hours before your school starts or maybe after the school at 2:30 or 3 when you're off, maybe towards the end of 2 hours at the end of the day, or maybe somewhere in between depending on your work schedules. And we will be working definitely with the coordinators that you have at your school, right? There are some coordinators or program specialists, and we will work with them at the school and identify what is best for you. And also, you yourself is responsible for your transportation, and some adult who is either your parent or a guardian will be dropping you off and picking you from the gate itself, because your parent and guardian are not allowed to enter the CDC campus. They will be picking you up at the gate. So these are all some additional qualifiers around it. But why I am saying that is to you to know, not to scare you, okay? This is a very easy, smooth process, but these are some things that I don't want you to give an impression that, okay, I can excuse from the school so I can take this program. No, that is not.
Okay.
So we will work with you to identify a best possible scenario that fits you as well as the program that is offering this program.
Gotcha. So just for context, y'all, this is not like volunteer, like the hours you have to get for being a senior. This is not open-ended volunteer, right? This is, the idea is for it to be connected to your interest. Make sense? So I'm interested in learning about a particular disease or how it relates to public health. The idea is for you to help inform what work experience you would want, right, that the CDC offers. It's not open-ended like, hey, I'm coming to volunteer to read to elementary students. It's not that kind of thing. It's connected to your particular interest and work experience that the CDC offers. We got it?
An additional point here is it adds to your CV when you are submitting your whole resume to your college, or maybe in future.
CV, can we, what is a CV? We might not know
Resume.
that.
You know resume, right? You all
Resume.
build your resume?
Alright, there we go.
Okay, good. So it can add into it. Why I am saying that it adds the value, it gives the weightage to your application for the college, as well as when you have this kind of CDC stamp, it is a very great resource and the certificate to have with you when you are really aspiring for a medical school and something else. Because their residencies and other things, they look for the CDC. We have other opportunities at that level also, but we did not present it here. But there are various other internship opportunities when you come into the college. Once you are in the graduate program, there are other areas of internship programs that are available as well, through which Angela came to us.
Okay. Other questions?
Like what states is the CDC found?
What states are the CDC in?
Yeah.
Well, we work all over the world, but we have campuses here and in Georgia. We have several campuses. We have DC, Virginia.
I think if I remember correctly, we have in 18 states. our
18, yeah,
presence and
there's a lot of
permanent buildings are
campuses,
there.
but the main ones are here and then in Virginia.
So what, can you give us some context about what, particularly locally, the campuses and what they do as it relates to global health? I know it's vast, but
We work, like, this is the headquarters and we have multiple locations here. One is near the Emory campus on the, what is that road called? Clifton Road. Clifton Road, and that is our headquarters where we have some of the laboratories and our director sits there, as well as some of the high level officials and the programs, like particularly global health and some of the microbiology work and some other health related work. And whereas we have some campus in the Chambly campus at the Chambly railway station, MARTA station there, behind the IRS building. Revenue building, you know. So that hosts several other departments and divisions that are ranging from non-communicable diseases to labs and injury prevention and some kind of work and wellness, and also all our IT related things are mainly focused, mainly in this. So, and also there are some other facilities where they were not owned by CDC, but they were definitely leased, but they provide the support with your security services and training support, and we have called a CDC University where there are various trainings and a lot of support related activities, as well as HR, human resources were there.
I was gonna say, if you finish school or out of school, is it possible for you to still do the internship?
If you're not in school.
Or like finish school or you get out of it, or you're not in school?
So once you finish school, there's different opportunities. ORISE is what I personally did. So ORISE is after you graduate, and you can actually still do ORISE while you're in college, part-time. But once you graduate, ORISE is a training program that is paid, that you have to apply for. But other than that, I think it would be up to, depending on the program you are and then the office you're in as well.
Particularly this program is just itself by title you can see, student work site. So you need to be, I think, at least a 50% enrollment as a student or something criteria is there, but you need to be a student of some school. And you are supposed to have at least completed 16 years, because that is a legal requirement, you know. I don't want to comment on that, but I have no right to comment on that as well.
Any other questions? Can you share your background? I know we heard some from Mrs. Tripp's background.
Oh, okay, good. So, by face and the accent and other thing, you can easily see that I am not from US. So I was born in India, and all my education was in India. And I completed my PhD in statistics, and then I did my postdoctoral fellowship from the University of Michigan. University of Minnesota, from the public health, and then I did some course with the University of Michigan on survey sampling and surveys and implementation kind of a thing, you know. Then while I was working at the University of Minnesota as a postdoctoral student, the CDC offered me this position, and since then I was working in the same group because they treat me well and they respect me well. That's one of the criteria wherever you work, right? and also they recognize my expertise. And now as of in this current position, I am the lead for the global tobacco surveillance system that includes both youth surveillance as well as adult surveillance. Our youth surveillance is currently active in around 185 countries across the globe, particularly in the tobacco control. And our adult program is active in 35 countries so far. And there are other initiatives. So my work is day in and day out is to deal with all these countries every day. When I wake up in the morning, I will be talking to some other country. And then all the ministries of health, people we will be having contacts, and also I closely work with all the World Health Organization, all the regional offices, country offices, as well as the headquarters that was in Geneva. And I hope you all know what the World Health Organization is, right? So that is my portfolio of work, what I do here. And it cannot be possible by one person. That's what I said. We have a very huge team of experts like Angela, who collaborates with us and who works very nicely in a team environment. What I'm saying is teamwork is one of the good cultures we established at CDC, and of course it is recognized well in any of your particular areas of work. When you are working on some assignment, for example, school assignment, when you have two people work together, it will come out at the next level. Same thing how your teachers work when they are teaching to you, right? They will collaborate among themselves to come up with a lesson plan and they will teach you. Why I am saying that is, before coming to US, I was an assistant professor in biostatistics in one of the medical universities there in India. So I know how the lesson plan works and other things. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Within your line of work, you work with globally known diseases, right? Does your line of work require you to like travel?
Yes. Extensive travel. Don't travel, but almost like.
You travel a lot. I would like to know your personal experience within the field. Like, you said you did it after you graduated high school, right?
Correct. So I started as an intern, a student intern, when I was in graduate school.
Okay, so what courses did you take? What courses did they have available, and how did you figure out that this is what I want to do? Because you went from this internship and then went professionally into the
Right.
field.
Very good
Great
question.
questions, good
Very
question.
good question.
So when I was an undergrad, I was getting my bachelor's in psychology. I didn't want to do clinical psychology, so I was more interested in neuroscience and developmental psychology. And then while I was working with Emory University in a research lab, I decided that I didn't want to get my PhD in neuroscience anymore. So I was looking to see what was out there that was related to what I had been working on, and someone had mentioned the Master's in Public Health. I had taken one public health class. It was health psychology, and I surprisingly really enjoyed it. And my professor actually did used to work for CDC in STD prevention. So I decided to go get my master's, and of course, when from Atlanta, we're very lucky to have the CDC headquarters here. It's an advantage that other students don't have across the country. So that was a great opportunity for me, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in public health. I originally really wanted to do something in physical activity and nutrition, but I had a meeting with our colleague Isabel and Dr. Pelopiti's team, and I really liked the work they did. I really liked that it was global work. That wasn't something that I had necessarily thought about, and it is competitive. So, because of course everyone likes to travel, right? I started there. I really enjoyed what I did. Not because of just the people and how helpful they were and the skills that they helped me to learn, but I kind of had a unique experience where half of my time was a public health analyst, which is kind of taking the data to inform tobacco control strategies, programs and policies in countries to prevent tobacco use. But then the other side was health communications, and usually you do one or the other, you don't necessarily do both. And what health communications is things like social media, fact sheets, flyers, infographics, things like that, that take the data, make it visual, make it easy to understand so that the general public will understand the data so that it's being used. Because what good is data if it just sits on the shelf, right? And so it's really, and I didn't get to travel as a student intern just because, I mean, it's going to be different on where you go probably, but part of it is probably just because of the funding for it. But as an ORISE fellow, which is a paid postgraduate program, I did get to travel several times during that. I went to Tanzania, I went to South Africa twice, Turkey, Germany.
Uruguay.
No, I didn't get to go Uruguay. Last minute.
I am-
Thanks for reminding me. And then this year, now that I am a public health analyst on the team, I probably will get to travel a little bit more. And Dr. Palcuti's always traveling. He's been everywhere. I've seen his passport.